Thank you for that little pause there. We're back going again. Can I control things from here? I believe I can. Let's see. If we turn off the browser, yes, awesome. Okay, cool. Haha, we're back going again. So, let me re-intro again. My name is Grant Fritchey. I work for Redgate Software. This is the first scheduled live Twitch event that I'm hosting. I'm going to be hosting more of these on a regular basis. I will also be hosting live events at events. I'm going to host a live Twitch stream at SQL Conference in Germany in a couple of weeks. And then the following week, I will host some live Twitch streams at SQL Bits in Manchester, in the UK. So you'll be able to see what those events are like. You'll be able to talk to some insiders, check out the event floor, and do all kinds of other stuff. Otherwise, this is basically me talking tech. That's the basic idea here. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you how to install Docker for Windows, although it's going to be a little twitchy because I'm having problems with OBS, but we'll see it. We'll see how it works. It might be up and down, but I think I can overall get it to work. If you've got questions, please go ahead and use the chat window, type them in there. I will answer questions as we go. I don't want to have to make you wait for stuff. If I haven't explained something, I want to explain it properly right at the spot. If you've got comments, make them. Feel free to toss things in. But the basic idea here today, really simple. We're going to install Docker. We're going to go and download and run SQL Server. And it is insanely easy. Way more easy than this OBS Streamlabs thing that I'm wrestling with and losing. So let's get going. Now, I've already downloaded from Docker and done the install. There are a whole bunch of things that you should look through about Windows containers and how they work and some of the stuff that you're going to have to do the install. It's actually pretty easy. So the actual download is available here. Let me zoom in so you guys can see it. Docker.com editions, community Docker, OE, desktop Windows. You can always just search it up, download Docker desktop, and then you can get Docker. It's very easy. Hit that download, off you go. Hey, Techno Viking. How's it going? You can go the stable version, which is what I went for because I am paranoid as hell about all this, so I'm very careful. Or you can do the Edge and get all the latest stuff. So that's up to you, your call. I'm doing just the one. So let's turn on Explorer. You should be able to see the Windows Explorer now. Awesome. Cool, that worked. I like it. Let me see where I can get to it. There we go. And now that I've got it up on my screen, I'm just going to run the install. And there's going to be a little problem here. The install is not going to immediately open. I'm going to try to show it to you guys so we can walk you through it all. But I've been hitting some weird stuff because of the Streamlabs OBS. So the first thing it's going to do is it's going to black out your screen and ask you if you want to make changes to your device. Yes, I do. I want to make changes to my device. So it's now downloading packages. Now you guys can't see it right now, so I'm going to see if I can make it so you can. Give me 1 second. Windows capture, add source, Docker, add new source. 1 sec. Done. Aha! So you've got it. Cool. Add shortstop to the desktop, use Windows containers instead of Linux containers. I'm going to actually do Linux containers straight up because I just want to do Linux. So now it's going to run the install. So it's really simple, right? Next, 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 go. I mean, it's really not a whole lot of work involved here. You can see that it's doing the install. Unpacking files, blah, 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 and as it goes. This is really not hard, guys. Getting Docker installed is really simple. It's working off of Hyper-V, which is running my Windows 10 laptop here. There's nothing to it. There's nothing special setup-wise that I'm doing. I mean, I have Hyper-V enabled That's one thing. I mean, I've got my laptop set so that it knows that I'm running virtual machines on the laptop. Those are all settings you're going to have to do, but you've probably already done them. Most of us are running virtual machines on a regular basis anyway, so no big deal. Ta-da, I've now got Docker installed and running. So cool. Now I'm going to get rid of Docker. Let me get rid of the Explorer. Let me get rid of the browser, and let me bring up PowerShell, and let's max it. All right, we'll zoom, don't you worry. By the way, does zoom? No, it doesn't work. Oh, interesting. Huh. Okay, that's going to be a bit of a problem. Okay, I don't know why I just did that. 1 second. That's a URL it put in. All right. So basically, Docker is running on my machine now. So all I've got to do now is do the hard stuff of, whoops, there we go. So all I've got to do now is do the hard stuff of, is there a way to increase the font on PowerShell? Anybody watching right now know if there's any way to increase the font on PowerShell real fast? Otherwise, I'm going to search it up. I don't mind doing this stuff. We're doing it live, so I can play. No? Okay, cool. We're going to look it up real quick. Increase font size PowerShell. I want you guys to be able to see this, that's all. There we go. Got it. Let's make it 36. Probably a little big. 28. There we go. All set. All right. So now that we've got Docker up, and now that we've got PowerShell where you guys can actually see it, I can see in the preview window. It looks big enough for me. So, oh, and by the way, I've already said it, and there's 4 people watching right now. If you've got questions or comments, go ahead and type them into the chat window. As I look over here, I'm looking at the chat window. So when I see myself, I can see you guys. Yay! Yeah. So we're going to keep going with this. Give me 1 second just so I can see what I'm doing. Right. Now, if we run Docker commands, Docker ps-a, now that's going to show me everything that's showing on my Docker. Uh-oh. Docker daemon is not running. Docker should be running. It all installed correctly. Close. There were no errors. 1 second. Let me just go to the Docker desktop and make sure it's going. Okay, so there was an extra step I missed. You have to run the Docker desktop. All right, sorry about that. Come on. It is running. I know it's running. I can see it. Oh, it says it's starting. Okay, we'll need another second or two. Hey, I told you guys this was live, and I've never done this before live. I've done this a couple of times this week. Preparing for this, I had just as many problems. See if there's any comments. Lazy Demon, yeah, absolutely. Nope, still not done. Hang on 1 second, keep an eye on it. So just so you know, the Streamlabs thing that I ran into, by the way, since Kendra's watching, the Streamlabs OBS, it's been fantastic. I've been using it for all kinds of different things. But today, when I tried to run it, it would not show my display. It's only showing windows. So there's some kind of display setting, something I have to go and mess with, and I only found out that it was not showing my display 10 minutes before I started. So I wasn't able to troubleshoot it fast enough, but I did set it up so I could see the windows, so everything can run and we can actually do this thing live. So where is it? Docker desktop is still starting. Come on. Life is not good. Docker service works really well on the Mac. Yeah, I'm sure it does, but it actually works really well here too. I've never seen it take this long to get started. Usually it starts up lickety-split. I'm wondering if I'm going to hit errors. Since I'm doing this live, of course I'm going to hit errors. Still says it's starting. Come on, baby. No, it's not hitting any errors. It knows I'm logged in. It's got all my GitHub and everything. It should be totally up and running here. Come on. Ugh, of course. Of course it's happening this way. Well, what we should be, aha! There it goes. Ta-da! All right, so all I wanted to show you was that Docker is installed, Docker is running, and that I actually don't have any images installed at all. But we're going to go in and we're going to go get them. So the way you get Docker images is really easy. Docker pull. Now, from there, you actually have to have the commands. Now, there's another URL I'm going to show you at the end of the session, that gives you a lot of information on how to do this. But Microsoft.com/MS SQL, yeah, that's right, server. And then I'm going to go for 2019. Why not? And I'm going to run a Docker container running Ubuntu. And this is going to pull the Docker. And that's it. It takes it a couple of seconds. This is going to run. It's going to download stuff. It's going to bring it over to my machine. It's all really largely dependent upon my machine and the speed of my network at this point. This has nothing to do with any special fancy stuff. This is just going and getting in that container, which, by the way, even though containers run sort of as VMs, they are not VMs. I would have to spend a bunch of time getting into the whole explanation stuff. I don't even fully understand it yet. They are not virtual machines, but it simulates virtual machines. So anyway, let's get this thing going. It's downloading. It'll be here shortly. Don't you worry. It's all quick enough. I've got pretty good internet connection. And you can see how much it's done. And I'm running it all, this, by the way, it's all PowerShell in case you didn't notice. This is all Windows PowerShell. But it's basically Docker commands. It's fairly straightforward. There's nothing to it. And this will run on Linux. This runs on Mac OS. If you run it on Mac, you're going to be typing sudo a whole lot. If you run it on Linux, you're going to be typing sudo. For those who don't know, it's super user do. But if you're not already learning some Linux stuff, time to start, because you're going to want to use these things. It's amazing. Once it downloads, I suspect the streaming and the downloading are fighting one another right now. So let's give it another minute or two for it to download. Let me check. I know I said I was looking at you guys, but I kind of don't always. On Windows using Hyper-V, and maybe it took a while to get going. Yeah, it might have been. That might have been it. Who knows? But it's going now, so just give it a minute to download while the fight is occurring. Streaming up and downloading containers at the same time. Not necessarily the smartest thing Grant's ever done. But no one ever said that Grant was terribly smart. Go on, baby. Hurry up. How about that local sports team? No, kidding. Totally kidding. Because my local sports team's the Pats, and we're going to win. And then my favorite Premier League team is Man City, and they're probably going to win too. So fingers crossed, because Liverpool's awesome this year. Come on, baby. Hurry up. Trust me, when you do this on your own and you're not trying to stream up at the same time as you're downloading stuff, it's going to be lickety-split. The tests I ran right before we launched all this took about 90 seconds maybe, probably less. But this is taking longer, so it's just the streaming fighting this is what's occurring. So we'll be up in just a second. Don't you worry. Almost done. Ta-da! All finished. Let me just scroll up. So now I actually have a full-blown instance of SQL Server on my machine. All I have to do, though, is I have to type docker run -e, and yeah, I have to accept the EULA. You cannot get away without accepting the EULA. It's really, really important. Now, I've got a password that I use for all my test stuff. And so anybody who wants to log into my test machines, not my laptop, but my test machines, I'm going to give you my password right now. That's it. I use it on every single thing. But the reason I'm talking about the password so much is not the password, but my password. I like to put the $sign in. And if I use double quotes in PowerShell, what happens? Well, that's basically saying, hey, you've got a variable. Let's insert the variable here. No, I don't have a variable. It's my password. So I'm going to use single quotes to make sure that it's a string. Just a little PowerShell thing, in case you don't know. You could do tick. I'm not going to. You've got to provide it with a port. Now, you can get really funky in here and do all kinds of stuff. I'm just going to be dull. We're going to do 1433. You have to give it a name. We're going to call it Twitch in honor of today. And then you've got to use the same stuff as we did before. Ubuntu. There we go. Let's make sure we get it right. Docker run -e accept EULA. Yay! -e for my oh, hang on. Got that wrong. 1 second. I got so excited about telling you about the things that I missed a command. That would have been bad. Equals. There we go. So SA password equals my password. Port, I gave it a name. I'm going from the thing. That should be it. All right. Hey, there it goes. Now, Docker ps-a. Look at that, and it's running. How do I know it's running? It tells me so right here. Docker ps-a is a great way to check it. I actually have SQL Server running on my machine. Yay. That's really cool. Now, how do we know it's SQL Server? Well, we're going to do this. Let's see. Docker exec -it. Name of my machine is Twitch /opt/msSQL-tools/bin/SQL command. If there was any question whether or not this, oops, typo. If there's any question whether or not this is Linux, opt msql's bin SQL command should pretty much eliminate any and all suggestions. The server is localhost, and my username is SA because I'm a superhero, and $CTHU88. Let's hope that works. Yeah, I thought so. Oops. Use the old version. There we go. Anyone believe that we're not on SQL Server? Hang on, let me just check to see if there's any chat. I kind of want to name a pet EULA. Yeah, 1988. Thanks. Yeah, I know I messed that up. Clearly, the chat is like 2 or 3 seconds behind what I'm doing here. Cool. I know I'm not talking. I know. Oops. Did I spell it wrong? Oh, I did. Haha. Let's see, ID int, comma, myval, car 50, go, insert into my table, hang on, dbo.mytable, ID, myval, values, 1, hello world, of course. I don't care if Hugo's watching. Done. Winning. Tell me, not counting installing Docker, can you get a SQL Server instance up and running that fast? Probably not. It's actually pretty cool. Docker is really wicked cool. Now this thing is running right now under my local IP address. So, oops, hang on, we gotta get, there we go. So it's running under, where is it? Yeah, 192.168.1.10. That's my local IP address. And with that, I can go to external tools and connect. Now, I want to show you external tooling, but when I tried setting up Azure Data Studio, well, I'm going to show this to you, and you're going to be angry with me for a second. It goes all black. I don't know why. Again, this is something Streamlabs is fighting with me on this stuff. So I've tried it 2 different ways. I set it up 2 completely different ways to get Azure Data Studio running, and it just didn't work. Now I am going to try something while we're sitting here live and we're chatting. I am going to try one other thing. I'm going to try running my VM, opening up a window for my VM and see if I can connect to the VM, and if I can start the VM, if I can connect to the VM, and if I can show you the VM, I will show you how we connect from external tools to the Docker instance of SQL Server. Let's start that. Now, as far as instance controls go, you control it through Docker. It's actually pretty straightforward. You can start and stop the instance. You can pause the instance. You can certainly get other stuff. You can attach drives to the instance if you want to put them in particular places. There's all kinds of things you can do. Yeah, there's not enough memory between all the stuff I'm running. I can't restart my VM right now, so that's just not going to happen. Oh well. Sorry, I couldn't show you that little bit. It's just showing you the external connection using the IP address. Now the beautiful thing here is that you can completely and utterly just take control of this. And once you've got it up and running, it's SQL Server. And it's so simple and so quick to get an instance running. I mean, you know, yes, it took me a little longer today. 1, I'm fumbling through it because I've only done this a few times. And 2, the competition between downloading the silly image and streaming here definitely stressed my bandwidth a little bit. But it's really, really simple. All you've got to do is get that Docker service running, and bam, you're off and running. This is really simple. Now, let me show you. Should I show you one other thing? No, it's not actually not going to add a whole lot to the conversation. And so that's pretty much it. There's a whole bunch of stuff you can do from there. The world's your oyster. I mean, so you can automate all this stuff because, you know, it's all command line driven through PowerShell. You can automate creating the Docker containers. You can automate dropping the Docker containers, automate refreshing the Docker containers, restore databases into the Docker containers. Like I said, it's once you're on it, it's SQL Server. Now, Kendra's talking about Windows. There's a way to control the CPU. There actually is, in the desktop here, a way to control CPU and memory as well. I'm not going to try to mess with it live on Twitch. Plus, because the way my desktop is behaving right now, you guys can't see it. So it'll just be you looking at me as I poke at things and wonder what's happening. So I'm not going to do that live right now. But it's you can do it through the GUI. You can also do it through the command line. There's command line driven commands for controlling the way you allocate memory for the different Docker containers you're running. And yes, you can run multiple containers. This one's running under like, I think the default value is like 2 gigs or something. It's teeny tiny. So it's using up almost no memory or space at all, but it's running SQL Server and it's completely accessible as we saw earlier. Right? I mean, it's just SQL Server. I mean, it's the funniest thing about running SQL Server on Linux or running SQL Server inside of a container is not, oh my God, I'm running SQL Server on Linux. SQL Server in a container. The funniest thing about it is it's SQL Server. So all the stuff that you already know today, all the stuff you already do today, you're just going to do here. The main difference is going to change is paths. Right? Where you store files is not going to be the same with a container versus an instance running on your local machine or running on a virtual machine. You'll have to, you just have to define the paths a little bit differently. Same thing goes for Linux, and this is running, by the way, Ubuntu Linux. So it's all pretty straightforward. It's all pretty simple. I mean, you guys watch me fumble through it badly live. It's not hard. If I can do it live in front of you with very little practice, you can sure as heck do it on your machines and be off and running. So anybody who's thinking they need to experiment or want to experiment, and by the way, you should all be thinking I need and want to experiment with Linux and Docker, it's easy. Get going. You've got to do the Docker install. It has to be Windows 10 Pro or I forget what the other, here, let's bring up the browser. It's so weird the way I have to do this, but that's the way I have to do it. Now the requirements, there it is. Did that zoom for you guys? I hope it did. It's hard to tell from here. Windows 10 Pro, I'll bet it didn't. Here, hang on. I can do it this way. There we go. Right, Windows 10 Pro, Enterprise or Education. You have to enable the BIOS on your machine, obviously. And other than that, you're off and running. I mean, at least 4 gigs of RAM. I'm hoping everybody's got at least 4 gigs of RAM on their laptop. Well, yeah, it's zoomed now because I zoomed with the browser instead of zooming with Zoom It. So I'm making sure I zoom, that's all. I just want you guys to see everything. Now, the other thing I want to show you is... let's see, I've got one more URL I want to display. Let's bring it up here. Microsoft has been just hitting it out of the park with their documentation these days. It's, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, especially 20 years ago, Microsoft documentation was a joke. I mean, it was a bad joke. But in this day and age, today, Microsoft documentation is so good, I sometimes wonder if I should still be blogging, because it's, what am I adding to the conversation with these guys putting together stuff like this? But the fact is their documentation is fantastic. So you're not going to be able to see this easily, but it's docs.microsoft.com, NUS, SQL Linux, quick start install connect Docker, quick start install connect Docker, SQL Server quick start, quick SQL Server doc, quick start, whatever. These guys are doing a fantastic job, and it's going to walk you through. It's going to tell you which Docker you have to have, how much memory you have to have, and it's going to walk you through depending on if you're running on Linux or not. Oh, here, I can zoom in on this one too. Right, depending on if you're on Linux or not, it'll give you the commands to run. It'll walk you through it. It'll tell you, here's how you get it started. It tells you what all the stuff is, and it tells you how to check to see if it's running. All the things that I showed you, I first learned here. So Microsoft documentation is just fantastic. And, it shows you how to, go in and change the SA password, how to make a connection, how to, create and query database. And yeah, I kind of followed their stuff, but not really. I just did my own thing. Connect from outside the container. I already showed you how to do that through the IP address. And then you can remove your container, stop and RM, and then off you go. I mean, it's that easy, guys. There's no reason in the world why we're not all starting to do this, because if you want to experiment, say, with SQL Server 2019, like I did the install here, this is a great way to get started. Just nice and simple. You got Docker running, do the install, and you're off to go. That was my plan for today. Install Docker, show it off to you guys. Now, I didn't get to show you some of the things that I wanted to show you, just is fluff at the edges because of the way the Streamlabs thing is going to do. I will fight with that to try to get to a better place, physically, spiritually, and everything else. And there's, it's nice and simple. They've got, Kendra's already pointed out in the comments, if you're not looking at the comments, that there's a great demo on doing backups, and I've used that demo too. To first time running a restore on a database, so it was great. It's just thing about it though is it's just down to moving the files around. It's pretty simple stuff, but once you're done, it's real simple. And the thing is, it's all SQL Server, and you guys already know SQL Server. Then you already know this. It's just a question of getting it up and running. Now, before we go, I'm about 35 minutes in. It's probably 10 minutes longer than I thought it was going to run. I'm opening this up to the floor. Do you have any questions on this topic or any other topic? I don't care. You want to talk execution plans? You want to talk about anything else? I'm more than willing to. Demos would be difficult right now because of things that are running, but I am more than happy to talk about anything. Next time, can you set up replication? No. No, I'm not going to set up replication. I'm especially not going to try to set up replication in containers, considering how little success I had during this process. So, any other questions? Please type them into that little chat window. I mean, I'd love to help out. And again, any topic. It doesn't have to be this stuff. I mean, I want this to be, I have no problem doing demos and walking you guys up to stuff and trying to, share as I'm learning. I like to share what I learn. But I know that other people are digging other kinds of holes. So merge replication with parameterized row filters. Yes, I've heard of it. I'm not touching it, man. I've never liked replication. Even back when I had to have it and I had to use it, I didn't like it. But, that's just me. But yeah, Kendra, I can't imagine why. Kendra, I'm leaving that one on you. You will set up now you know how to set up containers. You're all set. Just make them merge between each other. All you got to do, basically, it's real simple, right? Create two containers, two different names, two different ports, and they've both got the same IP address, and all you then have to do is put comma port, and you can connect up to whichever port you're connecting to, and off you go. Nice and simple. So you can set up replication between two containers. By the way, I know people, Denny and Joey, other people, they have set up like always on, all kinds of other crazy crap between containers. I mean, it's all kinds of stuff that's been going on with this stuff. I'm not an expert on containers. I'm more than happy to admit that. I am learning it, and I'm learning it fast. And I'm going to make this a part of my everyday work. I've made this a part of my everyday work. So it's absolutely fundamental to everything I do now. And Redgate is actually not flogging my company right now, but I may do this during my channel occasionally. But Redgate is exploring containers in a big way. We recognize that in terms of development testing, this is the future. So if you're not doing it now, you should start, because you will be doing it soon. And taking containers, working them into a build. Yeah, you want to do that. I haven't done it yet. I need to start looking at that, automating it through some of our tooling to set up containers. But it's something that it has to be done. So yeah, it's just going to be the way to do it. I mean, because you can spin these things up and attach drives to them, and then once you've got the drives attached, then you can start doing SQL clone and all that fun stuff. I mean, it would absolutely work. I mean, it's going to be fantastic. So, Nika, come here. Come here, babe. Come up here. Come up here. Come on. Come on. Up here. She won't do it. I don't know. Come on. Come on up here. Come on, jump up. I know we told you not to jump up, but you can jump up just one time. Come on, baby. You're getting all worked up. Okay. Sorry, I was going to introduce everybody to Nika. You can hear her tail thumping on everything now. Anyway, guys, any other questions? Yeah, she's not into Twitch. She doesn't like cameras. Okay, well, if there's no other questions, if there's no other comments, thank you all for watching. I will post this to YouTube. I don't know if I'll do it directly to YouTube now or schedule it later so I get more videos over there. I don't know. I'll figure all that stuff out. Thanks for watching every Friday at 10 a.m. And don't forget, also, I will be doing live Twitch from SQL Conference. I'll be doing live Twitch from SQL Bits. And as the year goes on, I will be doing live Twitch events from other events. So there's going to be a lot more stuff coming on this Twitch channel. And again, I will post it all to YouTube so you can watch it later if you want. Thank you guys very much. Thank you. And I'm going to turn it off now. I'll see you guys later.